Hey, future Matt, excitement time. This week I was moved to road construction temporarily. I have to commute over 100 kilometers a day, and it started raining so much that it caused widespread flooding just as I start working outside. So that's my week. Anyways, the Slocan ride was really nice. We had a really great time and we biked just a little bit too far. I got to poke around the sawmill, which had been closed since 2009, and take lots of wonderful reference photos, some of which will even be used in the sawmill I'm building in Castlegar. So the big problem for the day was that my new saddlebags wouldn't fit on Adrian's rack, so I ended up carrying all the load for all 103 kilometers. This was more than a little bit too much, and I did nearly die. It may seem like an exaggeration, and it is, but the last 20 kilometers were really difficult to get by. Still, it's really incredibly scenic there. Very pastoral. Unlike the Colombian Western, this is part of the Colombian Kootenay Railway, there's a lot more farmland. It's a lot more inhabited. There are roads. That being said, some of the early settlers came expecting orchards and found virgin forest. Anyways, for this ride, we planned to have lunch at a nice little cafe near South Slocan that was apparently open 7 days a week, but it wasn't when we found it. We ended up going to a little pub in South Slocan itself. It looked totally seedy, but we were really desperate for food, so we went in anyway, and it turned out to be the most gorgeous interior, and the food was absolutely fantastic. It was exactly what a famished cyclist needed. It's called the Damn Inn, but the only damn thing about it was the damn good food. Oh, I'm funny. It's right by one of the many dams on the Kootenay River, which is where the name actually comes from. Of course, it was all downhill from there. The lower half of the trail is a bit repetitive in terms of countryside, and for the upper half I was far too tired to notice how pretty it was. We finally managed to limp back to the car after 10 excruciating hours on my bicycle. I doubt I can sit down on a bike seat yet. That night, we camped at Syringa Provincial Park, which is directly across the lake from McCormick Creek Bridge, which is the one that you may recall I am modeling. Hey, future Matt, have you finished it yet? No, I didn't think so. After that really good night's sleep, we headed home, because I had work the next morning. We headed up the Lardo Valley, and it was like stepping back in time. There was no cell service and only a gravel road, and it's probably the most backdated area in southern BC. Everything just screams, I haven't been updated since 1957. When we first got electricity. Anyways, the so-called highway we were on quickly turned into a narrow, almost one-lane road high above Trout Lake, which is actually really exciting to drive because I'm totally into that kind of thing. We took it down to Arrowhead, took the ferry to Revelstoke, up over Rogers Pass. The visitor center was closed, before going the rest of the way home. It was a really wonderful, uncrowded drive, and it was exactly like long weekends shouldn't be. Anyways, on a personal note, right now I'm striving to increase the amount of creativity in my personal life. I'm trying to counterbalance what I do at work with what I feel I should be doing. My choir had a concert this weekend which helped immensely, as well as taking up all my free time on Saturday. It was really fun though. We sang with another choir from the cathedral in Vancouver. It's directed by a composer by the name of Rupert Lang. I have really strong feelings on music because, as I've mentioned before, music plays such a big role in my life. And because of this, I spent a lot of the week trying to play guitar. I say trying because I'm not there yet. I bought this big method book a couple months ago, which I'm too lazy to go get because it's all the way in the other room, but it's hardly seen any use because apparently that's not the way I learn. Without vast amounts of repetition and practicing, which I loathe, I cannot just memorize chords and scales like that. Many of these things are basics that I mastered on the cello a decade ago, and I haven't really needed to practice them since. And I hate practicing. So I'm worried that I need to actually take this to soul-crushing amounts of repetition to actually learn how to play this instrument. I really do prefer to learn by just going through the music with my feelings and just trying to figure out what I can play. Yeah, camera, that's fine. Why don't you just shut off? I guess I should probably check how much space I have on a memory card before I start rambling. So anyways, Saturday was completely canned because of how busy I was with the concert, and on Sunday we went to the bird sanctuary to see the newly installed mural there. Yeah, it looks pretty damn good, I'd say. The thing is, Adrian did it, and I am so ridiculously proud of her. While I'm just muddling around at my bland arse job, she's actually creating things that will outlive all of us. And it may sound super sappy, but I think that is one of the very best things that you can do. So anyway, I have a somewhat creative vein, so I have a model railway, and I think that's what a lot of you are here about. This week I rebuilt a fill that I so enjoyably smashed in a couple of weeks ago, and it looks fantastic. With luck, future map pending, there will be a link in the description to a blog article on how I built it. Or maybe it'll be a how-to video. Actually, I don't know. Go check out the links down there. There's probably something interesting. I started trying to rip 3/4 inch plywood into 1x4 sections so I could start actually building the upper deck, but my table saw is a cheap piece of junk, so they suck, and I have to go get them cut at the hardware store, where I originally bought them from. And didn't get it cut because I thought $1 a cut is too expensive. Something I actually got done this week were these little lumber loads. I've actually created a blog article on how to make these, and you can actually find that link in the description. Anyways, for this week I'm going to try out a new schedule to see if I can get more done. Wish me luck on that, and I'll let you know how that goes next week. And future Matt, do you have even one bridge operational?